So this is Bongani. One thing that we are trying to do with this particular problem that we have here is we're trying to factorize this thing fully. So the keyword here is fully and factorize. So basically what we're trying to do is to break this thing down until the highest powers that we can see inside our bracket, it's 1 if it's possible. So one thing that I'm expecting first of all is you guys know the types of factorizations that are there. So what do I mean by that? You know the common factor method, you know the one whereby when you have a polynomial, so a polynomial is the one that kind of like breaks into many types of factorization. That's where you have your difference of 2 squares. Then that's where you have your what do you call your binomials. Yes, the main purpose of this video is not to actually dive deep in the type of factorization, is to actually know how to tackle a problem whenever you have something that looks like this. Okay, so the first thing that you have to look at when you have something like this, remember when it comes to factorization, we are trying to actually form an expression whereby everything that you see here will be represented inside these brackets in such a way that there's nothing outside the brackets, and make sure that anything that is inside the bracket, the highest powers that are here, it's power number 1. So it's, in this case, let's say you have an r like this, you shouldn't have an r squared when you say you're done with factorization. The lowest power should be r to the power 1. All right, so let's start. What is it that you have to do? So my technique when it comes to this is that anything that is already in brackets, don't try to pull it out the bracket, just leave it like that. Try to form something that will look similar to what's already inside the bracket. In this case, you can see that we have an r minus s. So let's try to form something. Let's try to form another bracket whereby we'll have an r minus s. How can we do that? We take out a common factor from one of the factors that are from one of the variables that are outside the bracket. So which ones are those? So we have t squared. If I'm looking closely, I can take out a negative in this too. So if I can take out a negative here in r and also a negative here in s, so we're going to have r minus s. Then if we take out a negative 1 here on r, we're going to be left with a positive r. Now if we take a negative 1 on s, we're going to be left with a negative s. If you look closely now, we have 2 like terms. So what do you do if now you have a bracket with an r minus s and also another one? You write 1 r minus s. Then on your second bracket, what do you write? You write everything that is outside the brackets of r minus s. So you're gonna have t squared minus 1. But as I said, guys, inside the bracket, make sure the power that you have, it must be exponent 1. As you can see here, you have exponent 1, but here you have exponent 2. Then you have to ask yourself, what type of an expression is this one? As you can see, it's a difference of 2 squares. 1 is a perfect square, t squared is a perfect square. So you can easily factorize that by doing so. You can say r minus s, then you say t minus 1, and you also add t plus 1, and this is your final answer. Simple and straightforward. Thank you, guys.